Guess what day it is?
Guess what day it is?
Is that how we would?
That's...
I was guessing.
Well, it's a rhetorical question. But they're guessing.
Stay in the left 2 lanes.
It's boat day.
It is boat day. We're going to see sea wind for the first time in, what, how many months?
6.5 months.
6.5 months. That's a pretty big deal. We can't wait. We're driving to Indiantown.
Continue on to Beeline Highway.
We're about halfway there.
What's on the agenda for today?
Well, first things first, we are going to...
For 27 miles, continue straight.
We're
going to continue straight for 27.
Yeah, we're going to continue straight for 27 miles. First things first, we're going to open up the boat.
Assess the situation.
And assess the situation.
We have literally no idea what could
Yeah.
possibly be. We're hoping for absolutely nothing.
We're hoping for it to be exactly how we left it.
Step 1, assess the situation. Step 2, make a plan.
Oh man.
Here she is.
Oh god, I can't believe
Our
you're here.
girl.
Everything looks good.
Kept it nice and trim around
Yeah.
her.
None of the stands look like they're pushed in or anything.
No.
We're here.
Let's go.
Alright, we're gonna go. We're going. Well, she's dirty. Come on in.
Hi.
There she is. Oh gosh, do I remember the code? Yep. This is that metal screen that I had Russ put in here to keep bugs out of this little area. There's like a gap here for like ventilation. All right, here we go. Smells really good. Here. Oh gosh. Just nothing, just crazy. What do you think?
I think it looks okay. Well, it's not covered in mold.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying we don't have any mold. I don't see it, but I don't see any mold right now. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty much shrunk, but
The infrareds are full.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't smell anything weird. It just smells like our sea wind, huh?
Yeah, smells like seaweed. Come on down here. I know there's not a lot of room.
I'm
but-
coming. Oh boy. All right. Well, we're back. This is crazy. Oh yeah, look at this thing's almost gone. This was the Canberra gel. I held on to the stanchion base. There we go. Right.
Oh.
What, the bowsprit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's not bad
Yeah?
so far. Just uncovering stuff.
Yeah.
It's just some wasps and a couple lizard friends. But
Yeah. So our teak survived beautifully. Minus the bowsprit, didn't cover that, we gotta do that. But all that sunbrella, it looks more or less exactly like we left it. High five for that. We are really impressed. I was expecting stuff like this. We have mold. Well, not mold, that's algae. This is just algae, really.
with the black stuff.
Yeah, mold and algae, where the seam for the sun cover was. All of our sacrificial messenger lines are intact. We are
Ready to go.
Yeah, we are ready to go. Our tarp kept these things looking like new, our gasoline cans. We have some lizard families that have, well, not anymore, but they did take up homes in our little sunbrella covers for things. Here's one of the daughters or sons. You can see that. There he is. He is our friend. Oh boy. Oh, these are good. This is our rental car. We drove down from Pennsylvania in, and yeah, we had one hornet's nest attached to this wire for the solar panel, and we got rid of that. There was only a few. Oh, there's that's one of them. I don't know if you saw that on camera. They've been wondering where their home went. So let's come down here. I know this is not the way to come down a ladder. You locked everything up?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's Seawind. There she is. Everything is in really good shape. Nothing weird that went on. And yeah. Here it is. I'm about to tear out all of the old exhaust parts and get ready to design and install a new exhaust system for Seawind. And I'll explain a little bit more to you guys as we go, because first I have to get all of this stuff out of my way to see the space that we're working with down here to design and locate all of the new parts. So here we go. Okay, well finally, I think that thing's out of here for the last time. I think I have the location of the muffler sorted out. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Alright, so here is the new exhaust setup. This is the traditional water injection elbow. The cooling water comes from the engine. It's going to go up to a vented loop up here and come back down, and it's going to inject into the exhaust here. The reason you inject the water is because then it allows you to use a rubber hose like this, because it cools the exhaust gases down enough so you can use a flexible hose instead of having to use something that can take the heat like metal. So it cools it down. It's going to go into a rubber hose. It's going to fit over here. I got some really flexible exhaust hose from Vetus, and it's going to come from here and go right into this inlet to the exhaust muffler. Now this injection elbow can be offset up to 45 degrees from straight down either way. Well, I can't go to port because I got the whole steering and the throttle linkage here. I can go up to 45 degrees this way, so it is going to be just about like that, which points me in this direction. It's going to push onto here and going to go right into here. The bend radius is within the hose's specifications, and so I think it's going to really be able to take this turn nicely while staying flexible enough to be some shock absorption for the vibrations of the engine. Then the outlet is going to come up in the same hose and down, and then it's going to go out the back of the transom just like it is right now. So this is the position that I want the muffler in. It is cocked just a little bit to the left, pointing it in the direction that it needs to go. The diagram online and the instructions they sent with from the manufacturer of this engine, you have to have a minimum drop of 6 inches between the center line of the the exhaust manifold to where it enters the side of the water lift muffler, and we have about 8 inches here, so that's good. So I have this into place. I'm going to draw with a Sharpie where I need to make the contoured pattern, and then it's going to end up being a flat surface under here to put a lid on. So this is the hardest part of this entire project. This is the hardest part of the entire list of things that we need to do to get back in the water. So yeah, let's get going. What I'm about to do is I am about to make 2 patterns, one for each of the sides that are going to support the shelf that I set the new water lift muffler on for the exhaust. And what I do is I use a hot glue gun and some paint sticks that I just snip apart with some wire cutters into these little pieces, and then I will glue them to make the shape of the hull together. So say if I need to make a curve down, then I will start a curve down, and you can do as shallow or steep of an angle as you need to make your contour, and then it all just keeps stacking piece by piece by piece by piece to make the angle that I need. And so I'm going to make a pattern that is the contour of the hull down here where I'm going to make the shelf. And then after that, I'll use this as the pattern to trace onto a piece of marine grade plywood that I'll cut out and make the actual legs to the shelf. So that's what we're going to do. currently cutting wood, cutting the piece out to the bottom of this here. This is the top of the leg. Because I need the shelf to be this low. So here's the two pieces. I used my iPhone level again to kind of just get these pretty much straight. And now I'm going to take them off. And here's my piece. I've installed the dental dam. So there's not too much sanding. I just have to remove paint. That's all I have to do. I'm going to be using this thing. I think this is a one of my favorite sanders ever. It's a Makita. This is a very thin belt sander. It's like 1 1/8" blade or belt, and this is what I've done quite a few of my projects with on the boat. Thank you, Jeff, for showing me yours and lending it to me, and then I bought my own. He's my fiberglassing guru. I'm sure I'll talk about him when I'm putting together these build videos for you guys. So I'm going to put my respirator on and see if I can chew away this paint a bit. The nice thing about this is that it's a variable speed, so you can slow the belt down, and it pretty much doesn't sling any dust when you do that if you're careful. But this thing, I mean, it goes, you know, it's like a ludicrous speed if you turn it up all the way. So we're going to stay on the sophisticated speed. Okay, well, I think I'm done. Nicely sanded both spots. Not worrying about the little bit of paint left over. I don't want to sand through any more of the fibers of the fiberglass structure of the hull than I need to. For this purpose, this will have an excellent bond. And I've only gotten slightly itchy. Taking just the paint off isn't that bad. That belt sander was being ran off of our inverter. We don't have a very large inverter. It's a peak 1500 watt and it's a continuously rated, I think it's 800. That's definitely the hardest I've ever pushed it. The solar pretty much matched. I mean, it is late in the day, so the sun is low. And it matched pretty much all of the amperage needed out of the batteries. It just the inverter, when I would push weight into it and bear down on the belt, it would obviously pull more amperage because I'm straining the electric motor more. It overloaded a few times when I did that, so if I was light with the belt sander and just let the speed of it take the paint off, then I was okay. So yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm going to clean this up and then I'm going to get set up to cut those pieces of wood out with the pattern. So this is going well so far. Okay, got my 2 pieces cut, and let's see if they fit. Somewhere just like that. And this one will go just like that. It looks like the forward part is down. Looks like it should actually be way up like that, but let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so we are leaning quite far back or forward. So this definitely has to come down. I can't have this pointing up because this is going to want to come down and in. So this has to be as far down as possible. So I have to take off about 3/4 of a width from the height of this one. Oh, I'm just talking to the camera. I'm going to scribe a line. Okay, I'm going to go cut this. I'll be right back. Alright. Cut it off. Those pole saws are beautiful. They cut really nice straight lines. So here's the aft again. Right there. Now it looks like these are offset now, which they are. But the plywood itself is going to come back to here because it's 3/4 of an inch thick. I'm going to have this tapered. The plywood is going to be tapered. So there you go, 2 degrees is fine with me. The boat could be off in its stands. That is good with me. All right, we are down in the cockpit locker again. And I just set these back in here. This is the final spot that they're gonna be in. Very happy with how I got the fit on both of them. So now I'm gonna trace a line with Sharpie around each one as reference marks so I know exactly where they go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little dab of hot glue and I'm going to actually secure these things down exactly where they go. And then I'm going to take the time to use more paint stirs to make a template of the shape of the actual shelf that I'm going to put the lid on it. So the lid will be ready when I'm done gluing and tabbing these things to the hull. Hot glue gun courtesy of the inverter. Alright, so that is going to be the shelf right there. Now I'm going to be able to move this back and forth on here depending on where I want the final position to be. The lid is going to be screwed down to here. It is not going to be glued. At least I don't think so. And then this here, when I trace this template on the plywood, this is going to be the heel of my piece of plywood for the lid. So I'm going to actually cut a taper into it. And so the 3/4 inch thick plywood is actually going to come over and terminate somewhere up here. So I'm going to cut whatever that angle is, and I will be able to take that angle and get it from another tool that I have. This hot glue just comes off with a scraper pretty easily. It won't affect anything. So the next step is to glue these things in. Okay, so as you can see, here's my West system setup. I brought this with me. I store it in that container there down below. This is just the West System 105 epoxy resin, and this is the 205 fast curing hardener. I have a couple of pieces of biaxial stitched fiberglass here that I'm going to be using, and what I'm going to be doing is painting on with this chip brush raw resin. That way the pores in the actual fiberglass and in the plywood will really soak up the thin epoxy, and then I'm going to be mixing in some colloidal silica, and that will thicken it into a paste that will hold a shape, and that's what I'll use this tool right here for, to put a fillet all the way around where the plywood is touching the hull. That gives more surface area of glue for a stronger bond, and it gives a nice curved inside corner for this fiberglass to lay down into when I tab it into the hull. And that's it. I'll show you what I mean right now. Colloidal silica. Just to get this thin stuff to soak into the wood. Alright, follow me down. Forward. There we go. Smush, smush. I'm coming in now.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to take my respirator off of me.
Mm-hmm.
Please. Alright, this is rock solid now. Glass cured beautifully. And I told you guys I was going to show you how to get this angle so I know what I have to cut on the outboard side of that shelf. And I'm not really even sure what this is called. A bevel gauge or something like that. Just like that. And just like that. So right here, this is the angle we gotta cut. Alright, so I actually traced the pattern upside down, so this is the underneath side. And so I was able to scribe this line. This is the heel, as I was talking about earlier. This is what is going to contact the corner of the bevel that I'm going to be making. So we're going to flip this over, and so I'm going to try and cut this angle right here, which is going to be hard, but it's a straight cut, and I think I'll be able to get it with this pull saw. So this is what I'm going to use as my reference line. So I'm going to be able to keep the blade on this line, and then it'll be at that angle, and then I'll try to keep it on this line as I go. Okay, so as you can see, about halfway through, I'm on both lines. Alright, here's my shelf. Nice and pretty beveled. Not perfect underneath, but this is just going to be screwed down. This is marine grade plywood. I was told you could boil this and the laminates would not part. So this is going to get glued down. Or not glued, screwed down. The reason I'm doing that, I'm leaving this removable because in the future, if I need to do something like take the engine out and I need to take everything out and make the room as big as possible, I don't want this to be glued down. This is in the path of something like that, possibly. So I'm going to leave it serviceable, as is my motto. I always like to try and design things so that they can be taken apart again in the future for serviceability. Alright, the moment of truth. Oh, would you look at that? This is just so I know where to drill the holes on the inside. Yes, that's the outside, so this is where I want to drill the holes here. There should be. Okay, cool. At some point in the future, I might take this thing off and either varnish it or paint it with epoxy or something, but like I said before, this is supposed to be very good marine grade plywood, but I don't want it to get soaked with oils from the engine. So I'm gonna be finishing this off at some point. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We woke up and I drug Little Bum out of the bed. Or I should say I woke up and drug Little Bum out of the bed to come see the sunrise.
Oh, look at your mosquito bite.
I know, I have crazy mosquito bites everywhere.
Oh, that's a big one.
I know.
I thought I had one.
Yeah?
I don't have any.
Well, it is an absolutely gorgeous morning, and I think Katie's happy that I drug her out of bed for this.